All right, welcome in another edition of the Goodman Hummel Podcast. And we have a great show for you today. We have none other than the best player in the country, Rob. We have Iowa's Luka Garza, who will join us here in a minute. And should be pretty good. I mean, listen, Luka, I've talked to a couple times in the past, and he's way more entertaining than you, Rob.
Well, thank you very much. I do agree. He's a great player. And the cool thing about him is that he wasn't a five-star guy. He was a good get for Iowa, but man, like, you have to respect anybody that can come in, work hard, improve every year, and he's improved at such a rapid rate the last two seasons. And I didn't know if he could get any better for this year, but he clearly has. I mean, he's shooting like 80% from three or whatever number you said before we got on here. He's been awesome. He is such a good player. So it's been really fun to watch him kind of grow and mature into what he is today.
Before we get to anything else, I want to send my prayers, and I know you do too, to Keyontae Johnson of Florida, who's been in the hospital, was transferred from Tallahassee Hospital to a hospital back in Gainesville, and hopefully he's doing better. You know, that's the biggest thing, Rob. You know, forget about his career at this point. You just want Keyontae Johnson to get better, to live a normal life. And honestly, to be able to smile again, and you want to see him. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that everybody wants right now, just to see a picture of Keyontae Johnson smiling, talking, and hopefully he's getting closer to that point.
No, 100%. I mean, just a terrifying situation, and man, what a talented guy, but from all accounts, a great kid.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, you just hope that he can come out of this and have a good rest of his life, because he deserves that, man. It's every athlete's kind of worst nightmare, right? Like, you get tested for this stuff, for the heart conditions, and who knows what it was. That's still too early to say on that. But man, it's happened a few times throughout the history of kind of modern sport, and it never is easy to see. It's horrifying to watch.
And you just worry. I mean, I saw Reggie Lewis back when I was younger with the Boston Celtics drop dead. Of a heart condition.
Yeah, there's it's the same thing.
You just, honestly, you worry more about him and his life and his health than his playing career. I know when he gets better, I'm sure he's going to want to play if he can. Yeah. And hopefully he'll be able to. But right now, man, it was just so hard to watch and so hard to listen. You know, I've had a bunch of people call me that are close to him that try to fill me in on a little bit what's going on with him now. And I don't even care about breaking any news. I don't care. People are like, well, what's going on? You know, fans and everything. And I'm like, you know what? That's private. That's private information. I'm not reaching out to his family, to anybody like that. When they want to put it out there, they will.
Isn't it amazing how in today's kind of social media era, though, like, people care, which is great, but almost to a level of being invasive. You know, you search on Twitter and it's like, they're ripping Florida. They're ripping his family. Why haven't they released anything? Well, because they don't want to.
Right. Let them figure it out. Let them figure everything out. And when he gets better, then I'm sure they'll talk to him and his family, and then they'll figure out what to release. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who gives a shit right now other than for his health and his well-being? And then you worry about all that other BS. So anyway, all right. Well, listen, before we get to Luka Garza, I want to tell everybody about our sponsor, Home Field Apparel, terrific brand out of none other than Indianapolis, Rob. They've got great gear, officially licensed apparel of vintage college designs. I actually tweeted at them earlier today. I don't know if you saw, but I want some Let's Go P, some Austin P gear.
Oh, no.
And they said they've already got it. They got it going. Right. So if you tweet them, if you email them, whatever, they will absolutely work on getting whatever you want. I know they've already got Purdue gear for you. I love it. I wear it all the time. They're adding schools every day. So tweet at them, let them know it's at Home Field Apparel with no E, Home Field Apparel with no E. And you also can get 20% off the first purchase if you go with a Field of 68 at checkout. Just go to homefieldapparel.com. So, Rob, make sure you load up on your Purdue gear that way. Although I know you pay a few bucks, you don't pay anything for Purdue gear, do you?
And thank you to Home Field Apparel for finally bettering your wardrobe. It's about time. It's
a good
about
point.
time to play.
Very good point. I was wearing a Chicago State shirt the other day, trying to bring him some luck. It is not working, Rob. So trying my best.
They need a little more than a T-shirt wear from you, I think, for to improve.
I think they need somebody who can come in, and maybe Luka Garza. Luka Garza would definitely help Chicago State. I think they'd win a few games.
That squad. Yes.
So without further ado, let's get to it. Iowa star, National Player of the Year frontrunner, Luka Garza. All right, welcome into a special edition of the Goodman and Hummel Podcast. And we've got none other than my National Player of the Year last year, Robbie, also the front runner this year, and that is Iowa's Luka Garza. And Luka, listen, we wanted to make sure that you came onto the pod and you felt good about yourself. And we did it with a guy that we felt like you would have a higher vertical than, because Robbie's vertical was only, what was it, Rob, 19 a few weeks
ago?
I've
been dealing with a back injury, so I've been trying to get back into shape here. I'm not going to let Jeff slander you the way he slanders me. So I'm going to ask the first question, actually. We've all seen the videos of your dad, like, working you out. And I know when I was a kid, like, there was times where my dad would try to get me to go out and do stuff. And I'd be like, man, like, forget this dude. Like, I'm trying to go play with my friends or whatever. How has that relationship been for you? Like, have you guys always gotten, I mean, the workout videos are awesome. He drives you. Like, he's quite the workout instructor for you. What's that relationship been like?
You know, it's been awesome. You know, I think it's just developed over time. You know, I think when I was a kid, it was a little different just because he was, you know, teaching me and lecturing me about everything. And, you know, you have long car rides home after you play that and whatever the case may be. But he was always there. You know, he never missed a game. You know, he was always there supporting me and helping me. And, you know, so I was just so grateful for that. And once I got to high school, and I think around my sophomore, junior year, when I started to improve and get a lot better, you know, I think the relationship shifted, you know, to more, you know, just a coach player kind of thing. And he was just kind of a guy who just always pushed me and wanted the best for me. So I think, you know, it developed from, you know, when we go to work out, you know, it's not father son, you know, he's like my trainer, you know, so it's different. So for me, I just always valued that very highly. And I think, you know, no one pushes me harder than he does. And I think, you know, no one envisioned all of this happening for me besides my dad. You know, I think he knew the work we were doing and he knew what it would come to. So it was just, you know, kind of crazy to see it continue to develop. And I think, you know, he's always going to be a person in my corner that's going to help me improve every step of the way through the rest of my career.
Did he play, Luka, or where does his knowledge of working you out come from?
So he, you know, he played at the University of Idaho. He went to junior colleges first, at Santa Rosa Junior College, and then, you know, went to Idaho after that. He was never, you know, really an athletic guy. He was 6'7", couldn't jump, couldn't run, was a very good shooter, skilled guy, similar to my game. And I think he just learned so much over time. You know, he was a guy who was always in the gym. He had to teach himself the game, you know, for a stretch there until he met, you know, some of the coaches that helped him develop to where he is now, where he was. So I think over time, he's just learned a lot, and he's been around a lot of great coaches who he's put me in front of as well. So I think I've learned along the way from all of those people, you know, how you can train and how you get better. If you want it, you know, you can do it, and they just push you, you know, to a limit that you don't think you can go.
So how many times were there when you were younger, Luka, when it ended in tears?
Yeah, you know, quite a bit. You know, I think he wanted it so bad for me that he pushed me to an extent, you know, at some points it would be really frustrating, especially as a young kid. And I think when I got older, you know, I started to see, you know, why he was doing all that. And I think now I look back and I understand, you know, everything he was talking about, because even when I watch other guys who I see that they haven't worked on all those fundamentals that he just, you know, it took me until high school, he wouldn't let me shoot outside of 15 foot in a game. And I was a shooter. I worked on my shot more than anybody else, but he wouldn't let me shoot threes because he wanted my form to be so good when I went to the outside. Because, you know, he always just believed that, you know, that when you move out to the 3-point line, even an inch or something that moves away from your shot, you know, can make you miss and can change your form. So he was so keen on on just keeping that. And I think that really helped me develop into a better shooter. It's just I took my time, going out to the 3-point lines. I think you see a lot of kids just, rush out there and start shooting threes when they're young. And I think it ruins their form a little bit. So, I think that, along with a lot of other things, a lot of other fundamentals and footwork. And, I think, he wasn't always a center when he was playing. So I think he put me around a lot of people. My grandfather played center at the University of Hawaii, and he put me around a lot of different coaches growing up that helped me with every different part of my game. So, I think, what he couldn't teach me, he got other people to help me with as well. And then he, continued to learn as well. So, I'm just grateful for him and my whole family who put me around, a lot of good people to learn, to play the game.
I want to know, how many times did a young Luka Garza say, "Forget this, I'm stepping out to the 3-point line and I'm getting one up right here"? Did you ever do that?
I did it once.
Pretty good.
I was in 7th or 8th grade, and I think it was 7th grade, and I was at a Maryland basketball camp, and he actually didn't make the game. So I just went out there and started shooting threes. I hit like 4 or 5 of them, and it felt really good. And I told him about it. And, obviously he loved that I went out there and had the confidence to shoot him. And it definitely paid off. But I think, I always, understood that he wanted what's best for me.
So speaking of the 3-point shot, all right. So I'm now glancing at the NCAA's 3-point field goal percentage leaders in the country, Luka. You are 13 of 19. I think that's like 68%. They don't have you listed on here for some reason. I think they're trying to mess with your head or something. But if I go through it with guys with a minimum of over 10 3-pointers made, you would lead the country in 3-point percentage right now, Luka. They said you couldn't shoot the ball. Like, that was the big thing, right? You couldn't shoot the ball from 3. Now you're like Steph Curry out there. What's gotten into you?
I think it's just, there's a lot of work that goes into my shot. And I've been working on my jumper, for my entire life. And, I think, this summer, the amount of reps I put up and just continue to work on the consistency of my form and watching film and doing whatever I could to just help and improve it. It's getting to me to where I'm at. And I think also, it helps when you have, teammates who put the ball in the right spots. It's easy to make shots when you get a great pass. So, honestly, a lot of the credit goes to my teammates for finding me, in my spots and in the right spots so I can knock down some shots.
Luke, I always like to ask anyone that played in the Big Ten this. Like, my freshman year, I got absolutely christened by DJ White. I weighed like 195 pounds, and we had our bigs get in foul trouble down in Bloomington, and I had to guard this dude. And he was chucking me. I mean, I was getting physically manhandled. He was a grown man. He was a Big Ten Player of the Year that year. Did you have an experience like that, like as a freshman, where you're like, dude, the Big Ten is so much different than high school?
I think I definitely had a couple experiences like that. I'd say the one that comes to mind the most is Isaac Haas. He was gigantic, and I think they put it. The whole scouting report was that I was going to guard him, and I was going to give him all I got. And I think early in the first half, I got hit with an elbow, and I was bleeding profusely, and it wouldn't stop. I've never had a nosebleed that bad. He rung me up, but I think that's the type of basketball I love. I always love physical play, and it just was a lot of fun just battling around with bigger guys. And it just inspired me to get in the weight room and start lifting and get bigger, because I knew, that's what was separating, me. I was the same height, similar height to some of those guys, but they were just a lot stronger. So it was, fun to battle with those guys, but it also motivated me to get in the offseason and get in the weight room.
So you and I talked throughout the offseason a decent amount. And we talked when you made the decision to come back to Iowa. And since then, there were a lot of ups and downs, right? The season looked promising for a while. Then it was kind of deflating. Everybody was worried. Then we start the season, good for some teams. Other teams haven't played a game. Was there ever a moment, I guess maybe when the draft happened or something or before that, when you thought, hey, maybe I screwed up here. Maybe I should have left and tried this thing because I don't know how college basketball is going to look this year?
Honestly, no. I think just, being able to be in the gym with my teammates and be around the coaches and just this family environment here at the University of Iowa, it was never a doubt in my mind that I already made the right decision, no matter what happened with the season. I think, the fact that I came back and wanted to finish my career and be with my guys, I think that was enough, whether we started to play or not. So I think, it's been amazing. Ever since I made that decision, I was so confident in what I chose to do. I knew the potential of this group. I knew what would happen, if we continue to work hard and we're, continuing to get better every day and improve towards those goals that we want. But it's been a lot of fun along the way and will continue to be fun.
Luka, your sophomore year, you have a 9-pound tumor removed from your stomach. How scary was that? And did you think that maybe like I might not be able to play anymore? Like how real was that situation for you?
It was one of the crazier things I've ever experienced. I think you go from someone who was always, healthy. I had one surgery before, and I was always a guy who was out there playing through injuries. I was, doing whatever I could to be on the court and with my teammates. So I think, I had this bump on my side, and it never really hurt me. And I just, people told me it was my bone structure or something else, and I never really understood what it was. And then, it got to a point where it was starting to hurt in that general area, and I knew, my dad and my mom and everybody was on me to get it checked out. So, I was thankful to be here at the University of Iowa with the trainers and obviously the surgeon we had, because, when I found out I had to get surgery, and it was crazy, but I had confidence knowing I was here because, going into that surgery, if they had messed, it was so big, and it was connected to my spleen, so they needed to separate it without, bursting my spleen, because that would have made them have to go and open me up and remove my spleen, which, obviously you can live without a spleen, but it would have been, a more dangerous surgery, and more life-threatening. But, I knew I needed to do the surgery because if I had gotten hit on the court in that area and it had burst, that also would be something that was life-threatening. So it was just crazy to think that I had been playing with that, for as long as I was, and that I had to get surgery and that it was all real. And seeing the pictures of it, it just didn't really seem real. And like I said, I was just really grateful to be here with the surgeon we had. He did a terrific job and was able to, get me back on the court. And I think, having my teammates, my coaches, everyone who was a part of the University of Iowa program was at my hospital bed, when I was there, for 3-4 days. And that meant the world to me. And that's just kind of what, it's been like my whole 4 years here at the University of Iowa, just, been a part of a family. So I think, it was crazy, but it changed me as a person, to go through that adversity and be able to get back on the court. And it just changed my perspective a little bit on things.
Part of the family is obviously Coach McCaffery. I need your best Fran story. I need your most entertaining Fran PG 17, 18 story. Maybe not the R-rated version. Maybe we can bleep out any profanities. Give me your best one.
There's a lot to decipher, and I gotta, choose which is PG and which is not. I don't know. I think, there's a lot of them. I think, gotta give me a second on that one. I gotta think about it.
I mean, there's got to be some good ones with his sons. Coaching both sons now, like I can only imagine what happens. Do they call him Coach or do they call him Fran or what do they call him?
Yeah, they call him Coach. I think, he's been, he's very professional with his sons. He treats them like every single one of us. And I think in the beginning when Connor was a freshman, I think there was one argument in practice that, they kind of went back at him, and it's his dad, so like people are used to that, but everyone else was like, what's going on? I think Coach made a point there that wasn't going to continue, and I think it never really did. And I think Connor has it doesn't seem like they're the coach's kids, and I think that's the best part about it, because you can get a part of a team where it's like he's the coach's son, he's going to play, he's going to shoot the ball, whatever the case may be, but when you look at this team, he coaches them like we're all his sons, and that's what it feels like. So I think, that's it's definitely be awesome to be a part of that. And it just makes it more of a family environment because he cares about us as much as he cares about his own 2 kids.
I once asked Doug McDermott this. I said, what do you do, like, if in the locker room, if the other players are ripping on your dad? Like, what are you doing? Are you joining in to be one of the guys? You got to rip on your dad? Like, how do they handle that part of it?
Honestly, there really isn't much ripping of Coach. I think if anything, we're just talking about different things that, could be better. And I think that's more just critiquing our own selves and our own players. I don't think, I've never seen a situation where someone was ripping coach, and
Good
Connor jumping in or anything like that. But I think, as much as coach rips us, it's when we talk about Coach McCaffery, 90% of his yelling is going at the refs, and going in the locker room, and he's yelling, a lot of it's still at the refs. So I think, that's the biggest thing, with Coach McCaffery, is that he's going to push you, he's going to yell at you at times, but he's going to trust you to put you back in the game. But when he's yelling, a lot of that, is towards the refs. But I've seen 8 to 10 clipboards broken. I've seen all of that, and I think, if I think about the funniest story, with Coach McCaffery, the craziest was my freshman year. We're playing at Indiana, and we're getting to halftime, and we're playing horrible. First road game. I've never been on the road in the Big Ten. It's insane. Playing at Indiana in that arena with all those fans, it's crazy. He starts just losing his mind at halftime in the locker room. I've never seen. Obviously, I had coaches who are wired, and Keith Stevens. I've seen crazy stuff. But I think this one was. Number one, he starts kicking and slamming the door. He takes the door and just slams it like 5 times over. And, I'm a freshman. I'm scared out of my mind. And it was just, one of the crazier things I've seen. And he motivated us in that game. And we got it, we were down like 20 at half and cut it to like 3 or 4. And I think, that's the thing about him, is when he does that, his players respond. And they respond in a good way.
Look, I'm impressed. There was film sessions when I was at Purdue when I left, and I was like, man, I don't really like Coach Painter. So I'm impressed that you held back on that. What's the craziest thing you talked about playing on the road and how crazy it is to play in Bloomington? What's the craziest thing you've heard like an opposing student section say to you?
Obviously when I go on the road, it's a lot about the eyebrows. I hear that from the time we start to the time we finish. I think we were playing at Michigan last year, and I just come off that game against Texas Tech where I got my mouth split, and I had stitches. And the whole fan section, they thought it was a mole for some reason. They thought I had a mole on my face. So the whole 40 minutes, they're screaming at me like, "Stop licking your mole! Like, stop, touching your mole!" And I'm like, the things are like the stitches are coming off him, so I'm trying to put it back in place the whole game because it was like, I come in loose, and that was crazy. And I think also my freshman year, when people knew things about me, I think we were playing at Maryland. I know it was close to home, but I had an ex-girlfriend, and someone was like, "Yo, I was with," said her name last night, and I turn around, I'm like, I have no idea who the person is. I'm like, what is happening? And that's definitely up there. I say that was crazy.
I'm impressed you didn't Ron Artest them and enter the stands.
I
crossed your mind.
I just started laughing. It was crazy. It was impressive that they knew all that. Honestly.
I have to say,
got some good ones from my
junior year. We played at Alabama, and they're a football school, and we play them the night that Mark Ingram wins the Heisman Trophy, and they announce it before the game. The place goes crazy, and right before tip-off, we hadn't made our Facebooks private. And think about it, Facebook was pretty new. I played from like 07 to like 11. We had this Halloween party, like a couple months before the game. So there was I had a Buzz Lightyear like costume on. Teammates were like, and they had these life-size like cutouts of us wearing these stupid costumes. It was good.
I pay a lot of money for that right now.
Somewhere in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Somebody's got that.
Yeah, a few $100 easy if I could get you in a Buzz Lightyear costume.
Buzz Lightyear Halloween costume,
it'd be right behind me. It'd be right behind me.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Luka, why can this year's team win the whole thing? I mean, you guys are ranked 3 right now. Gonzaga, Baylor, still people probably giving them a little bit more cred based on what they did last year. But you guys have gotten a lot more credibility, I think, out of the gates this year. Why can you guys win this whole thing?
I think when you look at our team, I've said this before, this is the most unselfish group I've been a part of. The way we move the ball on the offensive end, it doesn't matter who's going, we're going to them. And I think every person on the team just wants to win. There's no ulterior motives. No one's playing for anything else besides, winning every single day. And I think when you have a team like that, especially with the veterans that we do have, I think that veteran leadership and returning all these guys helps a lot as well. Especially on the defensive end, we've been a team that when I first got here, we were, pretty abysmal on the defensive end, and we've improved since then every single year. And I think that comes with experience, and the coaches just continue to be honest about that. So I think, when you look at all those factors, we have a group that, has that veteran leadership, but also is unselfish and moves the ball around. And, there's no better offensive team in the country in my eyes. Obviously there's a lot of great ones, and, credit to all the teams that can do that. But, I have a lot of confidence in my group, that, when you have to game plan for us, you really have to make a decision. If you're going to really try to send out and take me out of the game, we got a lot of shooters that are going to make you pay for that. So I think, it gives us an incredible advantage to have the offensive players that we do.
I want to ask you about the defense, and you're right. You guys are so much improved. Your freshman year, it was not good.
Yeah.
Did you guys work on it, or had Fran just been like, forget this, we're so bad, we're just going to work on offense and we're just going to outscore people?
No, honestly, the coaches were working on it every single day, and it was, I don't know, all the film sessions were geared towards it. We were practicing it, we were working on it, and I think it just didn't click for us. And it took us a while. I think we had a lot of new pieces, and people had to learn to play with each other on the defensive end. And I think, in some games, I think some people were just, trying to get buckets and trying to get Wired to score. And especially when we got down, I think that also affected it. And we were a team early on that if we were missing shots, it directly affected our defense, and led to, less effort on that end. And I think, after that year, it definitely changed. I think our whole team recognized what happened, and the coaches were continuing to be honest, but they, obviously stepped it up a notch, because they knew, that year we were still one of the better offensive teams in the country. If you look at the rankings, our adjusted offense was right up there at the top. In all of our offensive categories, we were up at the top, but our defense was at the low. And we were, 14 and 19. We knew that it couldn't just be scoring that was going to get us to where we wanted to go. And so after that summer, I think we all came together as a group, us coaches, players, everybody, and we decided to commit to that end and to improve. And I think we did a great job of that. Obviously we had the same players. We obviously added Joe Wieskamp, but other than that, it was the same team. And we went from a 14 and 19 team that was 4 and 16 or something in the Big Ten like that. And then we were overtime away from the Sweet 16 and almost upset Tennessee. And I think, when you look at that change, it took everybody, a shift in their mentality. And I think that's something that we're continuing to do, especially this year. And we know, that's what's going to take us where we want to go, is that. And we know, like we said, we will score with the best of them. But, the more we improve on that end is the higher we're going to go.
So if you continue to shoot 68% from three, which I know you're looking at me like, yeah, you out of your mind. All right, let's say you continue to shoot in the 40s from three. How much do you think that alters the perception of you from the NBA folks, or do you think it is more on your defense?
I think, when I was talking to teams over the summer, I think, a lot of teams recognized that I could shoot the ball. They wanted to see me continue to shoot the ball and shoot more. But obviously I think a lot goes back to, my ability to defend, my ability to defend ball screens and move my feet and my lateral movement and everything like that, which is, over the summer, I grinded on that a lot. I worked as much as I could to improve myself athletically, and I've definitely seen a difference. And I'm going to continue to work hard on that end, but, I'm going to continue to take shots. I know, I'm a great 3-point shooter. I've known that, my whole life. And that's something I'm going to continue to prove, as far as I go. And I think, I have that confidence in myself to shoot the ball.
How much did not winning National Player of the Year last year to Obi Toppin drive you? I mean, you averaged 23 and 10. Like, a lot of guys would say, I really can't do much more than that. How much did that fuel you in the offseason?
I think, for me, it was something that, I knew the only reason I didn't win that award was because, his team was better than mine, or in the rankings. Their team had a better year. They won their league. They had a great success. And, obviously, he was great and tremendous, and he is a great player, and he's going to be great in the NBA. And it was just, it was an honor to be even, in the discussion with the top 5 pick, for that award. But for me, I knew that what separated me and him the most was that his team, had more success than mine. So I think, for us, for me, it was motivation to do whatever I could to lead this team to get to those heights, to be, a team that was ranked as high as his team was, a lot of last year. And I think, that was the biggest thing. And I knew I had to improve myself as well. Obviously, I'm always someone who's the highest critique of myself. And I knew there were areas that I could improve. I wanted to improve my efficiency and my ability to shoot free throws, and obviously my 3-point jumper. But, a lot of it was I wanted to, develop and lead our team to be, a team that could win a national championship, because I knew, that was the only thing that kind of separated us.
So were you talking crap? I hope you were, to my guy, George Niang, on Twitter after that win against Iowa State. Was there any back and forth? If not, I'm going to get it going.
I don't think so. I think, he's a guy I have a lot of respect for. I think, the other day he tweeted something at me in a positive note. I think he said, I think someone was talking about the TBT tournament, and they wanted to see me and him, in the TBT. And obviously he's in the NBA. And he said, with all due respect, Luka's an NBA player. And that was a great, thing for him to say. And it made me feel really good about myself. And just to get that nod from an NBA player. And obviously, Iowa fans won't like me for saying this, but he is a legend, at Iowa State, and he was really great in college. And, before I was even recruited by Iowa, I definitely watched him play at Iowa State and loved his game. So, he's a guy I have tremendous respect for. And, obviously I know, I'm a part of this rivalry, and, I'm going to beat down Iowa State. As I beat them down as many times as I could, winning, going 3-1. And, that's the most I can say about that. So I think, he's a guy I definitely have tremendous respect for.
Can you take us through the shoe incident last year? Like, I know you didn't do it. I know it was Jordan, but like, as a spectator to that, did that feel amazing? Like,
it was funny. He does some things that I can never do myself, but they're awesome. And I think we all knew before the game he was planning something, and he hadn't told everybody what it was. So I knew something was going to happen. And I think he didn't want to tell all of us, because he just didn't want us to focus on anything but winning the game. And he was doing this, and he had confidence in us that we're going to win this game. And I think, we all knew something was coming. And, kind of when I saw him do it, I was going towards the locker room, and I saw him out there signing it, and I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. And, I think, for a guy to grow up in Iowa and want to be a part of this rivalry and have the success that he's had in it, obviously I'm 3-1, but he's 4-1, being here 5 years. And that's impressive in itself to grow up watching that rivalry and then be a part of it and dominate it. So, all credit to him. But, that was awesome and a fun experience. And we all knew, beforehand that was going to be his last game of the year. So that was also another thing that he wanted to go out with a bang. And he definitely did.
Jeff, you know what that reminded me of? Remember Kelsey Barlow?
Yeah.
I played with a guy named Kelsey Barlow. We were playing Indiana, and he did the Reggie Miller choke sign. And it got put on. And Jordan Holes and Verdell Jones were missing free throws in a close game in Assembly Hall. And he's doing this on the sideline. And I have never seen the Indiana people freaked. Like, he had to apologize. Like, and honestly, I think everybody was kind of like, "This is awesome." But go apologize. Like, it was hilarious. That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Luka, Rob's told me some stories which I never knew back when I covered him when he was at Purdue. But Rob did some things, around West Lafayette that he's not quite as proud of. He can talk about him now, going into the bars, having fun, again, wearing the Buzz Lightyear costume, whatever it was. You seem kind of like I thought Rob was back when he was at Purdue. Never do anything wrong. What's life like for you at Iowa? Obviously, it's not the same right now without fans, without the campus being the way it is. But like, you're the biggest name right now in college basketball. What is life like for you? I mean, are you a social guy? Do you go out a lot, or are you just about ball?
I'm definitely a social guy. I like to have fun. And I think, last year especially, obviously this year is completely different, with not being able to do any of that stuff and wanting to stay, safe and healthy. But, I think over my time here, I learned to be able to balance everything. I think when I was more focused on just, playing and working hard and everything, I think, sometimes that would lead to more anxiety about playing the game and not having as much fun with it. And I think when I started to let go and have more fun and experience everything, that's when I became a better player and a more confident player on and off the floor. And I think you always have to have balance in your life no matter what you do. You can't, be all in one space. I think, you have to have fun, have to be serious, and you have to know when to work hard and when to have fun. But if you can prioritize those things and know when to do what, you can do both. And I've definitely had a lot of fun, had a lot of great experiences here at the University of Iowa. And I think those are experiences I'm going to remember forever.
All right, what's the best off the court moment? Give me the most fun. I'm not going to say the wildest, but I must say, like, what's the one moment that you always remember that maybe did not occur on the court?
The safe answer is definitely, when seeing all my coaches, everybody show up to the hospital. That's the number one off the floor moment for me at the University of Iowa. That support for me during that time was, there was nothing like it. But I think, we've had, some pretty great celebrations after some great wins. And I think, last year, I think my sophomore year when we beat Michigan and they were a top 5 team, that off the floor, just, that night, just, our whole team just, it was a lot of fun. We had worked hard to put ourselves in a position, to be able to beat a team like that. And I think we just, really enjoyed that win. And that was a lot of fun. So I think, when you look back at some of the games that we won over my career here and some big time home wins, but also I'd also say the Iowa State win on the road last year. We'd never won there with Coach McCaffery, and we lost in my freshman year. And to be able to go in their building and be up 25, that was a crazy experience. And then, obviously, just going around Iowa City after that game, and people, obviously hadn't seen a team win there in a long time, and that was a lot of fun just being around all the fans in the community. Because when you're in Iowa City, there's no pro team, so we are the pro team in Iowa City. So, it's awesome to see all the people that you meet, all the different people you meet, and share their stories with you and how they're, especially as I've grown as a player, I've seen more of it. But it's awesome to know and see the people around Iowa City.
Good answer, Luka. Jeff was looking like he was trying to get you suspended for the Gonzaga game. So well done.
Yeah, we've even talked about the Gonzaga game, and I mean, this could be the biggest game of the year. We thought, Gonzaga Baylor, it never happened. We've had some big time games that haven't happened yet. How worried are you? As the days go by here, it gets closer and closer, but every day, I don't know, we just wait for the shoe to drop, which sucks. But honestly, that's kind of what I'm thinking is let it get here so we can see this huge game that we haven't really gotten yet.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't think I'm worried at all. I think our team has worked so hard, in the off season and everything to prepare for moments like these. And we're ready. We're excited. We're ready to get to work and continue to get better every day. And I think that's another opportunity to prove that and get better. I think we're going to be on a stage, to show the world, what we're about. And I think that is something that, excites every single one of us. And, for us, we as competitors, we love to play against the best. So when I don't think I've played against the number one team in the country since I've been here. I think we've played against, top 5 a lot in the Big Ten, but I don't think we've had a number one matchup. Definitely not when we were in the top 5. So this is exciting. This is why you play the game of basketball. This is why you work hard. This is what you prepare for. So, for us, you got to have fun with it, and we're going to go in, be prepared as we can be. We're going to have fun when we get on that court and do what we can do.
When you were in high school, did you ever think that you could have a game against a team like Carolina where you go for 16 and 14 and people are like, damn, Luka didn't play very good tonight? Do you think you could ever set the bar at that level?
I honestly, no, I don't think so. I knew, I wanted to be a great college player, but I didn't know that, that would be my worst performance, or that would be something that I looked at myself and was like, I didn't play that well. That game was fun for me. I think, I learned a lot that game. When you see a team, I haven't played a team, obviously in the Big Ten, everything's physical. But when you talk about 4 big men that are all, of great size, and they're all really, really good players themselves, it was just, a fun matchup. And I've seen a lot of different defenses, and, I don't think I've seen a team with a depth in the front court to be able to do what they did. But it was a lot of fun. I think when I watched back on the film, obviously there was some great defense, but I look at those shots I was missing as those were gimmies. They were easy shots that I should have made all of them. And that's, my mentality towards it. But, as a kid, I was a guy who UNC was my dream school. That was a school I wanted to offer me. That was a school I watched on TV the most. Tyler Hansbrough, all those guys. I love those teams. So be able to have an opportunity to go against them and beat them is something that I'll definitely remember forever.
So last question we have for you is if you win this game, I mean, you're probably the number one team in the country. Like, have you thought about that, of Iowa, of you being the number one team in the country? Has that can that enter your head before this game, or do you just focus on Gonzaga?
I think for us, that's something we all kind of have the common knowledge that could happen. But for us, I think we're just focused on winning the game, and we're playing a great team, and we have to get there first for that to happen. And we have to go out there and play our best. We're playing, one of the best offenses in the country. So, our defense is going to be put to a test that, not many other teams will be put to. So that's, exciting for us. And we know that, if we go in and we play our game and we play defense the way we know we're capable of, that, we have the potential and the chance to pull out a W.
Well, listen, we appreciate you joining us. 68% from three. We expect you to continue that. We also expect you to blow away Robbie's vertical of 19. He says he got it up to 20 or 21 and a half or something like that.
I don't think I'm that far from that. I think he might have me beat.
Hey, I'm glad you're part of the fraternity of guys who can score the ball at a high level below the rim.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You guys can really relate. The two of you are like, brothers, lost brothers. Okay. You both two of my favorite people, two of my favorite players. And I like it because honestly, neither one of you can jump that much higher than me.
Oh my God. Hey, after the season, we're having a decathlon. We're going to kick the shit out of Jeff and everything.
There we go. There we go.
I'm older. You got to respect your elders, guys. Okay. All right. Listen, Luka, we appreciate it, man. Always. Continued success. And I'm sure we'll do it again later in the year.
Definitely. Thank you for the opportunity. And thank you for having me.
Thanks, Luka. Love watching you play, man.
Thank you.